So what's going on with you?
Yeah. Well, there's just like that. Like I'm telling you the day before yesterday or whatever. Like the kind of course that she's more vocal. You know, she's more whiny and more needy. You know, the Akitas are usually quiet unless something really happens.
Yeah.
If I get an LGD, like you were saying, you're hinting to it, and what I've heard and what you were telling me the other day, I gotta really think about it because they will bark more. You know, I'm not really used to that.
Yeah, they bark a lot, man. Especially like when you might be in the middle of a show or you might be in the middle of a conversation and just out of nowhere, they hear something. I notice too a lot, like if if I set a drink down too hard and he's half asleep, he just goes on like alert 0 to 100. He starts barking, gets up, looks around, trying to figure out where that noise is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I like it, but when you're trying to relax, sometimes it's annoying.
Yeah.
Like my wife is sleeping right now and he's barking because he heard my voice. And he knows I shouldn't be talking at this point because everybody should be like asleep or relaxing. So he heard my voice and he was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah. I mean, I can hear the neighbors' pugs right now, but I mean, at least the kid I have on that side, he's not retaliating. He's not telling him to shut up, right? At least not just yet.
Oh, he's not.
Yeah.
He just realizes that they're no threat.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, usually like at night, he don't do that. I live with them. You know, if it's at the daytime, yeah, they're nagging. He'll bark right at him, right at him, on the fence. Now at night, the only problems I have every probably about 3 or 4 times a week. My other male, because I got my yard divided, they'll bark. Well, you can say they bark at each other, but you can hear the pounding on the wall and the fence. But my other male, he don't really bark per se. He has more like a growl or like a roar.
Mm-hmm.
That other male, he doesn't really bark. But I had an incident several. I mean, this was years ago. This was like maybe 4 years ago at a dog park. I mean, ever since then, I don't go anymore. Especially with that breed. But yeah, I mean, they'll make noise, but he just doesn't really bark.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to see my Turkish Shepherd with other dogs. He's actually pretty cordial with them. He just lets them do their thing, and as long as they are having fun and don't bug him too much,
Mm-hmm.
he's laid back. Especially if he's in neutral ground or on their space. But forget about it. If something was in our backyard, it'd be a completely different story. Or
Yeah.
do you think you'll ever breed Corsos?
I had I have a couple of people that they're two of them are actually like a reputable breeder. The other one not so much, but I do have like three prospects. I mean, I'll do, but I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'll see if I get another one. I mean, I would have to either something would happen to one of my dogs, either by the dog passes away or something really bad happens. I don't see them. Like I said, they're real good with people, so I don't see them actually crossing the line with kids or anything. And I have one of my females. She's kind of iffy like that, but I mean, when feeding time, but I mean, usually me and my wife, we take care of that, and we actually let her pretty good when it comes to that. So yeah, I mean, I've thought about it, but I mean, there's some options out there. As far as for breeding them on my own, it will probably be a while before I do that. I mean, I'd rather just get talk to the breeder and get pay your stud fee and get an agreement with that, and then I can take it from there. That'll probably be more the more sooner reasonable option if you can think of it that way.
Do you watch those Cane Corso channels?
Yeah, I've seen. I want to your latest episode. No, not your episode. It was another Yeah, it was a channel, but they couldn't say the guy's last name. I think they were referring to a Jason Quarry, but they couldn't say his last name. So I was like, man, that you guys get it wrong. But yeah, I watched some of them. But I mean, whatever they say or whatever I hear from it. I mean, it's good food for thought. I mean, most of the things I agree with, most of the things I can see, but there's a few things it's not always that way.
Yeah, I'm just I'm a kind of person that I like to get all sides and everything, but
Well, anyways, this guy's from over there, from the Caucasus, or Eastern Europe region, but he's from Albania. But the way he described, he obviously, he breeds these dogs, but the way he described it, yeah, there's the Central Asian Shepherd or Alibi, which is which he pretty much implies, or he's kind of said it, he has said it, but I mean that's more like, I guess you could say, the show dog. But the landrace strain per se, the more not showy type or the more working type, he calls it Caucasian Volkodov.
Okay.
So that's why I think that, well, from what I've seen, all these videos and everything I've seen online, nobody calls the Alibi an Orchaka except for this guy.
Well,
I don't know if that just he just wants to, if that makes him feel good, or I don't know. I mean, but yeah, I get what you're saying. But I mean, but from my understanding, the land race is the Caucasian Volkodov, and the more show line, the more recent, especially with YouTube, the past decade and a half would be the Alibi, the Central Asian Shepherd. That's from my understanding.
Well, if you go to like Wisdom Panel and stuff like that, they call them Central Asian or Varshkas.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. It's I don't know exactly the divide there. I don't know much about them. I should talk to somebody, but I kind of think it's probably like a line or.
Yeah, but when you're talking about earlier, another thing that struck in my head when you said about neutral territory, some dogs don't care, if it's neutral, they'll go full attack.
Mm-hmm.
But say like a Corso and a Fila, like if it's neutral territory, they will. I mean, I'm not saying they're wimps, but they will, I guess, back off per se on neutral ground.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't really have that. I don't want to say gameness, but a more dog aggressive strain.
Right.
But if you take a Presto Canario or Nikita in the dog park, they don't care. They're gonna go all out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you can see. I got it on the screen there. You can see Wisdom Panel.
Okay.
Central Asian or Varchka.
Okay. Yeah, I will say this though: his dogs do look more work type. They are impressive. I mean, there are massive dogs, but they look like they can work. They have that look to them. I know there's another guy, a breeder in Georgia, but his dogs do seem more like the what you call the Alibi. They're a little more heavy set, and they have the bigger jowls. They got good size, but I don't think they're as mobile per se.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got Caucasians too, which are they're a lot more athletic looking as well.
Yeah, but still, I don't know. I think I think a Caucasian or Chaka or a Fila will probably be too much dog for me. I think that'll be like a dog. I'll be honest with you. I think that's too much of a dog for me. To me, that'll be a liability. I mean, you can get away with certain things with certain breeds. With Corso, you can get away with certain things, certain training. Akita, same way. What else? Maybe like a Catahoula. But I just think, I mean, but the more modern presses, they have that off switch. You still need to know what you're doing, but I mean, if if you have like a family, if your spouse or if you have older kids, they can help you with that. When you're not around, they can train. But some dogs you just can't. If you're not going to put the work in it, it's too much dog for you. At least for me, those two dogs are probably not for me.
I would probably get a pure one if I had more property or if I didn't already have an LGD. But yeah, his dogs are definitely something that it would probably scare me off a little bit, but I think they serve a purpose. And I truly believe this. I really do now. Some people would say to me, you're crazy because you can't mix those kinds of genetics. They got different kinds of drives, blah, 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 whatever. But if you're looking for just a pure guard dog, despite, and that's the only thing I'm going by what I'm about to say is the best guard dogs in the world, in my opinion, are livestock guardian dogs. You don't have to train them; they're going to do the job and they're going to fight. If the fight,
because they have that land race and independent.
Yeah. And so, so the only problem with that is that, and this is the issue where people may not want one, and why they would prefer a Corso or a Presa or a Neo is they're independent.
Yeah.
If they haven't bonded with you, or they're not really interested in doing the work for you, they're not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that negative side of that. So you really, the work that you got to put in is the socialization and the bonding that you have with your dog.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And so they feel like they're connected with you, like you're their master, and you're going to be the one to protect them. So they're going to protect you at all costs. So yeah, I think that's, and they're really hard to train. Like, you have to have like a lot of patience, and you can't hard train them. You can't balance train them. I don't care what anybody says. And I'm like 100% like, I feel this way until I see it being done. And even then I'd be skeptical. Is balance training with these dogs. I've tried it and it just makes things worse. I'm 90% hands off of my Turkish Shepherd. Like, the only time that I step in is if he's acting too aggressive or I need to control him. Because he at mealtime he can get a little aggressive.
Yeah.
He'll door fight. And so I'll grab him and put him outside. But you can't, yelling at him doesn't work. Like, a stern no, that kind of stuff. Like with my Frenchies, you can do that. Or my Bulldog, they get that and they respect that. But him, no. Not at all. And if I get him on the leash and I try to yank and crank a little bit, or no, that's just not going to work. It's like force free. Really, truly. He'll refuse.
The guy HB Kennel. Have you seen that guy? The guy from yeah.
Oh yeah, I subscribed to him. I didn't know he was in Massachusetts. I don't watch all of it. A lot of his stuff. I don't listen to him as much as I should. But now that I know he's in Massachusetts, I try to hit him up. But I'm sure he's got a big channel, so he doesn't need any kind of.
No, but he'll do. He'll do like a live stream every like once a week or every week and a half.
He'll do it like in his car.
Yeah, he'll do it in his car. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So you get with him. Yeah. And there's another gentleman. He's out in he lives in Cincinnati. He's also an alibi breeder. And I'm not sure if you're trying to hit him up. But when I talked to him on the phone probably like a year and a half ago, he told me the best way to do it is if you work with him every day. You know, without forcing your will. But I mean, if you work with him, train him every day, that's probably the easiest way to control him. You know, that's the way he's explaining it to me.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I also like I'm 100% a believer in you can't be like some of these YouTube training stars with them. You just can't train them like they're a Corso or a Pressa. They're just not going to respond that well. They're different. They're independent thinkers, and they're not going to want to be you know directed in a way that they don't feel is necessary. It's hard to explain. Like
Well,
it,
another thing is even if you can get, just based on their DNA, the way they're built. I mean, even if you were to get away with it, let's say you're I guess like semi young or maybe not as old
Mhm.
per se when you're doing that. But those dogs will stay younger longer than these mastiff breeds. These mastiff breeds will age eventually. They'll slow down. They'll have more diseases. I
Yeah.
guess they'll maybe not cower to you per se, but they'll be since they're that the Velcro dog, they'll be like, okay, whatever you say. But I mean, these livestock guardians, they'll stay younger longer, and their independent nature, it's not gonna. If it did work or half-ass work, it's not gonna work as they get older.
Yeah.
You know.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I love those breeds a lot. They're probably besides the bull breeds, are definitely my favorite breeds.
Mm.
Um, it's funny like when I try to get him inside, um, he's like, "What do I need to get him inside for? My job's out here, but
Mm.
I can't have him outside barking all night. You know what I mean? So that's why
Yeah.
I get him inside. But um, so I'll just walk around with them. I don't try to grab them very much. I just walk around with him and just kind of put my hand out. And I said inside, and I'll just keep repeating it. And eventually, he just goes inside, and then
Yeah.
he's happy. He sits for his treat like the other dogs. I mean, then he acts kind of like a dog, and then he'll even like once in a while like try to lick me in the face or whatever. Like when I'm trying to give
Mm.
him the treat. It's funny when he does try to act like a dog because 70% of the time he acts more like a wolf.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they're great dogs, man. As long as you
Mm.
can put up with the hair and the barking, and the fact that they're not like easily trainable.
Mm.
Akitas to me seem like they're not. They're more of a primal dog as well, aren't they?
Yeah. Primitive.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. They're just they're not they're not they've lost a step when it comes to at least they're to their they can still do it, but they're not as good as what they were you used to be with guard homestead guard protection. They can still do
yeah,
it, but they're better dogs. They're better options out there. Either the mastiff direction or the true livestock guardian direction. Those dogs are better than them.
I don't know. I just really like the Akitas for some
Yeah.
reason. I really
Well,
do.
all those those Japanese dogs, they're well, obviously we have American Akitas, but they were from Japan. We just
Yeah, yeah,
adopted them because Japanese didn't want those multicolored, those pintos, didn't want the black
yeah.
mask, but they were over there in Japan. We just brought them over here, especially after World War II. But yeah, the Shikoko, the Shiba Inu, and even
Mhm.
the Tosa Inu, the Tosa Fighting Mastiff, they just have that mystique. They don't really make noise unless they have to. But if it gets ugly, they will, they'll show their ugly side when it matters. When it matters. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I like those dogs a lot. I really like Corsos too. I mean, I wanted to get one a long time ago, but um, right when I was ready to, the boom happened, and
Uh,
I was right in the middle of trying to buy a house, and it wasn't in the cards.
Yeah.
Um, and then all the controversy now about them. So,
Mm.
who are some of your favorite Corso breeders?
I mean, there's we close to my area, we have they have the Royal Corso, and then there's the other one is God, it's a tip of my tongue. I don't know, but they're from out of state. I forgot what the guy's name is.
Mm-hmm.
But another guy that knows what he's doing is the guy from SoCal Press. He's a good breeder. I mean, like I said, I'm not too into presses, but that guy knows what he's doing. You know, he gives his knowledge. He advises people. He tries to match up the best dog to the person and to based on their lifestyle and everything. You know, he's a real good guy. You know, at least with that breed. There's a lady. I forgot. She's a hobby breeder, but she's up in Oklahoma, and she's probably one of the, if not the only one, which I'll probably pay like a hefty, rehoming fee or rehoming price for, because she knows what she's doing too. I mean, when I talked to her about a year and a half ago, she told me this, and that. You know, don't do this, don't do that. You know, you don't want to. You want to avoid, people like to do this or, and yeah, she took her time and explained to me the whole thing without me even asking. She wasn't just trying to sell me something. She explained to me, this is what you can do. If you teach them to be mean, they'll be mean. But if you do your socialization and everything, you can have, certain strangers in your house or certain people that, or infrequent visitors, but the dog will have an idea of who's coming in. I forgot her name, but she's out of outside Oklahoma City. But yeah, as far as the famous people, that's the only one that I know in Royal, which is probably like 3 hours from where I'm at. More north of the Houston area.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of Corso breeders besides like the ones that everybody names, and then the guys that I've talked to out there on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I really do like I like more of the heavy neo influence Corsos. I know that's not popular in a lot of circles.
But like the big, you mean the bigger bone per se?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people would argue that would be like more of the Euro Corso. The more, because some breeders here in the U.S. they, I believe the guy in California, he's still alive, and he doesn't breed as much as, but the guy that introduced when he introduced some Great Dane blood in it, because it's not supposed to be a stocky Great Dane. It's not supposed to be a bigger boxer either. That's not what the course is supposed to be. I don't like the undershot bite, and I avoid cherry eye. I went to San Antonio probably like last year, and this guy had a large litter, had about like 13, 14 pups, and the female he used had, she had just gotten surgery. He got it done. He treated his dogs. He treated them good, but still the mom still had that cherry eye, and I was kind of I decided not to get one. Because of that. Yeah, I know. It's a problem in that breed, but I avoid if they have that. I think the undershot.
It to me, it's like you got to weigh your options. Like if I see a litter and none of the siblings had cherry eye, but the one, then you can say it might have been environmental, but I'd be skeptical too if it was the mom or whatever.
Yeah,
it'd be hard for me to pull the trigger. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I definitely like. I like the bigger bone, the ones that kind of look. If you were gonna put a compass on it, that look more on the athletic neo side than they would the more finer bone ones.
Yeah.
But I mean, I see the validity in both, and I like both of them. But I really, if I was like to get a mastiff, Neo would be the mastiff I would get. So that's why I like the Neo influence ones. I love Neapolitans a lot.
Yeah. Didn't you have that one breeder? She said one thing I wasn't aware of it. I mean, I guess it's very or it's overlooked or underrated. They're actually pretty dog aggressive per se within
The
I guess
Neapolitans.
yeah. She
Oh,
was she was saying that right.
oh yeah, heck yeah. And that's why all these band dog guys like to use Neo.
Yeah.
That they can be dog or man aggressive.
Yeah, just like because they use the Neo and they use the Neo. Okay, they used the Neapolitan Mastiff. They used a whole bunch of breeds, right? But the two that stood out to me was the Neapolitan Mastiff and and the and the Torn Jack, Lasted Guardian Dog,
Oh,
to make
really?
the I think you had this guy before. I don't know if it was you or someone else. The Serbian defense dog.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I think they used a bunch of breeds, but I mean, those are the two that stuck out to me. The ones that for most people it'll stand out. Oh, really? It has Neo. Oh, it's got the Lasted Guardian Dog in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I like it. I like the Serbian defense dogs a lot for that
yeah,
reason.
yeah.
I really like the Ambul Neos. Now, there you go. That's what I like. If a Corso looks like an Ambul Neo.
I don't think I've seen one, or I've heard of that, but I don't think I've seen one before. Yeah.
Mark Riesinger out of California, real smart guy. He's a long time dogman out of the
Mhm.
way back in the 70s, 80s, like the David Levitt of the Mastiff world. He created the Ambul Neo. He took um, Neapolitan, American Bulldog, American Pit Bull Terrier, and I believe Bull Mastiff, but I'm not sure about the Bull Mastiff part. But I know he took like Scott Line Bulldog, American Pit Bull Terrier, Neo, and we're talking dogs originally dogs out of the 70s and 80s. So
When they were healthier.
yeah, and I don't want to misquote, but I think he had access to frozen stuff, so he's been able to do a lot with what
With
he's.
stuff from the past.
Yeah, I think he's got a PhD too. So I
Okay.
mean, yeah, he's like in that realm, like PhD in some sort of science. So he's not a dumb guy. Yeah. Yeah, check. I interviewed him. It's one of my first original interviews. The
What was the name
audio,
again?
Mark Riesinger, and I think that documentary TV recently interviewed him,
Okay.
within the last year, which helped my video out.
In the French bulldog, what is each color called? Like what's like what is this and then like what's the proper wording, the proper terminology?
For like which one, which color?
Okay, let's say for example, like I said, they're very similar to um to the Corso. Okay, so like in the Corso, they don't like calling it blue, they call them gray. So in that color, what is it called in the French bulldog? It's called lilac or is it called gray?
They would call it lilac, or
Lilac.
yeah, yep.
Okay, so the Formentino in the Cane Corso, what would it be called in the French bulldog?
I don't know what they
Yeah,
would call that in French.
yeah.
I'm really bad with it because it doesn't interest me for whatever. I mean, I look at some of the colors and I like them,
Yeah.
but I'm just really bad at. Like I see my pied, my blue pied. He looks like
Mm-hmm.
he's fawn because he's probably got fawn in there. He looks like a standard dog, but he's got blue in him.
Mm-hmm.
And my repro vet knew right away. Oh, it says he's pied, but he's blue pied. Cool. I was like, how the hell did you tell? He looks like brown to me. Like, how do you tell he's got blue? But I guess if you look kind of close to his mask and his head, you can kind of tell that he's got a little blue in him or whatever. That's what I
Uh-huh.
assume. But like I got cocoa and tan, I think, or is he no, he's cocoa and tan.
So is that like a red for other breeds, like a chocolate or what?
Yeah, he looks brown, like chocolate. That's
Brown.
what I would have
Yeah.
called him. I would have called him chocolate and 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 tan. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
oh no, that's cocoa and tan. Chocolate and tan is more desirable.
An old friend of my wife, years ago, she had a fallout with her, but that's besides the point. But
Yeah.
they had a Chihuahua, a female,
Uh-huh.
but that dog actually acted like a dog. I mean, the dog wouldn't really bark.
Yeah.
It would jump on the couch and it would get close to you to want to cuddle, and then it would go out and like it would jump off and it'll grab a chew toy and like try to fight it and then it would get into the cat food.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was. I mean, it was like a chihuahua, but it wasn't like your typical, your little psycho little demon. It acted like a
Yeah.
dog. So I mean,
Yeah.
that was kind of cool. I was like, cool. This is an actual real dog.
So yeah, it's funny to see their different personalities.
Yeah.
I do strongly believe that these colored dogs there's been fuckery somewhere
Mhm.
down the line, you know what I mean? Which I don't care.
Yeah.
I knew about it going in, so
Yeah.
I mean they're French bulldogs now. I mean, so but yeah, I think that there's too much color out there and too much weirdness for this kind of stuff not to be, it's not organic.
Do you do
I
you, do you, art, do you artificial inseminate them or can they actually mate by themselves or it depends?
It depends. I wouldn't do it though. I would never do
Yeah.
it for a
Yeah.
couple of reasons. Um, I just don't trust I don't trust natural ties to begin with because I wouldn't unless I owned the female. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it'd have to be in a climatized area, and the dog it'd have to be these are French bulldogs, man. They could get too excited and stroke out.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I
I
mean,
guess the other alternative would be do it in the winter.
yeah, I just nah. I think I'll stick to them going to the repro vet,
Mm.
but no, I know several people who've had. I think the last pup I got was from a natural tie, I believe.
Yeah.
So, oh, and I think my first one too was, according to the breeder, anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust him, but the other two,
Mm.
I would believe if they said that. But
Mhm.
um, but yeah, no, mostly, I don't think they like to do that. Like I got my cocoa and tan one. I can't imagine him trying to mount something. He's so small,
Yeah.
and he's built like a sausage. He's not overly fat or anything like that. He's only like 14 pounds, but he's so small. And then he's, like I said, he's built like a sausage. So it's like, the hell? There's no way. you'd have to find a female just like you, like another small one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of sausage, the other day, uh, had to get a quick vaccine because I took my dog to the groomer because I had a coupon
Yeah,
from
yeah.
PetSmart, so I took advantage of it because usually I walk them either to Tractor Supply or I walk them to the this chain, this regional chain called Pet Supplies Plus. So I do
Uh-huh.
a long walk and then I bathe them myself. But this time I had a coupon from PetSmart, so I said, okay, I'll do it. I mean, it'll be a good deal, you know. But anyways, I had to get a quick vaccine because it had expired for the the rabies vaccination. But I actually saw a dachshund, but like the normal sign, not the mini. I saw like a
Yeah.
regular one,
Yeah, yeah.
and those are like hard to find anymore. I mean, my
Yeah,
grandma
they
had
are.
one years. My grandma had one years ago. I mean, it
Yeah.
was they gave it to her. The dog was already elderly, but the dog was still God. I mean, I think we got that dog when it was like 11 or 12 years old, and that dog was still active. It will still run around, and they have a booming bark, you know, because it's a hound. The hounds have a booming bark.
Yeah.
So you see a small package and it's like a big bark. Oh wow, you know. But I haven't seen a regular one in years. Like God, I saw it was like wow, it was impressive to see because you usually see those little mini ones, those miniature ones. What the hell? What the hell is this? But this
Yeah.
time I saw the normal sized one, and sure enough, it looked like a like a typical sausage, but like a thicker sausage.
I love going to my vets because it's a repro vet and it's a
Yeah.
big place
Mm-hmm.
in the suburbs. And so just sitting there you'll see dogs that you normally won't see, and I saw a couple of standard size ones the other day too.
Oh yeah.
And they are so much bigger,
Yeah.
and you could tell they got like fire in their eyes, like um,
So is the oldest dog you have? Is it one of your original English bulldogs? Is that the
yeah,
oldest one?
yeah, he's 11.
Yeah, he's 11.
Yeah, he's sleeping in the bedroom now with his diaper on.
Mhm. Well, I mean, it is. I mean, I guess it is late now, so I guess it is reasonable right now. It's normal hours to sleep.
Yeah, no, it's funny. He's got his old man diaper on.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, yeah, you gotta put diapers on these bulldogs when they get old. But yeah, I love bulldogs. I know a lot of people don't get it, but uh, I try not to convince anybody.
I know you had several old bulldogs trainers or and breeders before, but on your episodes. But have you had an episode with a Victorian bulldog breeder or no? Do you have
I've,
one?
I've tried. I've
I
tried.
tried, but they won't respond.
They're not really interested in talking. And I don't know anybody here in the States. And then from what I hear, a lot of these Victorian guys have like started crossing, so they've been because they've it's the blood became really hard to get, so they went to old
Yeah.
time. With old time dogs, and they introduced Staffy Bull into them and all this other kind of
Hmm.
stuff. So it's hard to
Yeah.
find like a true Victorian anymore.
Yeah.
But I want to get a old time, and I want to get a Victorian, and then I also want to get I really like uh, this might it's you might not like it, but the Australian Bulldog. I want to hear
The which
that
one?
story. Australian Bulldog.
No, I've never heard of Australian.
Yeah, what they did was they just did a few tweaks with the English Bulldog to make it a
Okay.
little like made it a little taller, a muzzle, made the muzzle slightly longer. Nothing like overly changing the dog. Like you'd look at it and say, "Oh, it's just a little bigger English Bulldog." You know what I mean? It doesn't look like an oldie. It's smaller than an oldie,
Okay.
but they've had supposedly some good results with those dogs.
Okay.
And then Brazil has another bulldog.
Oh, speaking of Brazil, the only thing I don't like. I mean, what I heard is the Brazilian Dogo. I think that's just stupid.
Oh no, I love those dogs, but no, these are they have the Camp Hero bulldog, but they're farm bulldog. But
Uh,
there's another one that's a little less known. It's more regional, called the I don't know how they say it in Portuguese. I'm gonna
uh,
butcher it, but it looks like Sereno bulldog,
uh,
and it's kind of like the Camp Hero, but it's smaller.
okay.
It's not as big. It looks more athletic. If you were going to say like the Camp Hero was the Johnsons and the Serenos are the Scott lines, it's kind of like that.
Well, speaking of Portuguese, have you heard? Have you heard? I'm sure you have. Have you heard of the Strela or the Strela Mountain Dog?
Yeah, I've tried to get a breeder from over there to come on, but they, probably a language barrier.
Okay, yeah.
I like those a lot. There's an extinct breed that became extinct, I think, in the 60s or 70s, or maybe even in the early 80s. It was a mastiff type breed in Portugal that they're
Hmm.
now trying to recreate with
Okay,
some specimens that still had some
yeah.
original blood in it. They weren't purebred, but they're trying to go back and trace it and recreate it. I'd
Yeah,
like to
they
hear
have
about.
well. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to hear about that.
They have a well, it's not rare per se, but it's very uncommon. It's only common in Portugal. It's called it's a livestock guardian dog. It's called it's a big dog. It's a oh shit, what's it called? The Rafaredo something or
Yeah.
yeah.
Same thing. I try to reach out with. I went on the Eurobreeder site, and there was one breeder from Portugal that I tried to reach out to.
Okay, yeah, Rafaredo Alentejano. Yeah,
Uh huh.
yeah,
I really want to talk to somebody about that because I've heard good things about those dogs.
yeah. It's kind of like I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like combined. I mean, just looking at this dog, I mean, it's kind of like
Yeah, I think it's probably a mix of like Spanish Mastiff, uh, uh, Great Pyrenees, and then probably some sort of some of your Balkan state type dogs.
yeah, it's kind of yeah. It has like it has like I mean, I guess it got the hair type, but I guess you can see the Pyrenees, hair. But I mean, it does have like cut like color or color markings, kind of like an Armenian Gamper.
Yeah.
But it has the typical, in Spain and Portugal, they had that typical dip in the back, like your Filas,
Yeah.
your Spanish Mastiffs. They got that, the high rear quarters with dip in the middle. It's got that too. Yeah.
I always forget about the Spanish Mastiff. I really like those dogs too.
There's a lady out in Kentucky, and she breeds them. I think and they do work too. I don't know if you've heard of her.
I interviewed a lady from.
Yeah, I think I saw that episode, the one you're talking about.
Yeah, I should probably reach out to that one too. I think they're probably rivals.
Yeah, there's some.
um, yeah, I really like those dogs a lot. I always thought about when I think of daydream about mixes like a Great Pyrenees Neapolitan mix,
Yeah.
just because Great Pyrenees are a little more easygoing,
Mm-hmm.
but they're still big and strong and athletic.
Yeah, they'll move. I mean, from zero to nothing, they'll move right quick. Yeah.
They have no fear either.
Well, speaking of fear, and we're talking about the Iberian dogs, from Spain and Portugal. But from what I hear, that Australia Mountain Dog, I heard it yeah, it's livestock guardian, but it can be a good thing, but it can be a bad thing. It will do the charging. It will leave, I guess, the property per se, or your loved one. It will leave in charge, kind of like similar to what the Preston Canary will do. It'll go, but it's not going to stay in the perimeter. It will, if it has to go to the perimeter, it'll leave. Which, I mean, there's two sides of the coin to that.
Yeah, it's like anything.
If you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. It will.
Yeah. Yeah. They'll take off and go to to take care of business.
It's got a little extra prey drive than your normal LGD.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should look some. I should try to find some, because there is more Australia Mountain Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I like.
Yeah, because that was a little bit more common and more, I guess, than the Rafael Alentejano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should try to get somebody on for about that. I like those dogs a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, because you would have told me 10 years ago, I would have laughed. I would have said, no thanks. It's got hair. But now I'm like obsessed with. Because I look at these dogs. I mean, until you have these kinds of dogs, you just don't. They're just so capable is what interests me the most.
Yeah.
I like those. What they say that the labs came from.
Are you talking about the Labrador came from that dog?
Yeah, from Portugal. They say that it has. It's that originally. It's a.
Yeah.
Let's see the
trying
name.
To think. Yeah, I can't think. No.
Portuguese. It's more of a livestock watchdog breed than it is like a retrieving breed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what do they call it? Labarero. Yeah, the Labareros. Yep, the Labareros. Cal de Castro Labareros.
Oh, yeah. I saw. Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw. Hey, have you seen that one guy from the Czech Republic? Roka Dog.
Uh huh.
Yeah, I think he's done 2 episodes on this dog, and actually on all 3 of them. I mean, he does his little quick, round robin. His videos are pretty brief, but he did a summary on this dog, the Rafael Alentejano, and the Australia Mountain Dog. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that guy's channel. He does good work.
Yep. Yeah, he did it on that one. Yeah. I think this dog is the one I've seen this dog before. I mean, obviously I'm not in real life, but in in videos and pictures. But I think this dog's like the medium one, and the Rafaelo is the bigger one. But they both do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I read an article. I think it was on Facebook. A link was on Facebook a while back, and they did say that somehow they tied it into the labs and stuff. So.
Well, have you heard of the Lancier?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's supposed to be like the original and the athletic Newfoundland. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder if that.
I'm not sure. It's like semi extinct. Like there's a few here and there, but they're not like as common as they used to.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually seen
Yeah.
my last neighborhood I lived in. A couple had one.
Yeah.
They're yeah, they're actually pretty impressive looking.
Yeah.
I wonder if the Estrella Mountain Dog has some Lancer blood in it.
Yeah. I mean, I could see it, the double coat. I mean, the
Mm,
dog's the color's not really there, but I mean, they probably use something else to get the color. Well, this Castro Laboredo has, I mean, it's pretty much. I mean, when you're looking from a distance, I mean, it has that color of like the plot hound,
yeah,
that real dark brindle. But I mean, it's brindle, but you have to like look up into. Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, from distance, you can't really look at it. You know, it's the one where you have to like stare it down. Okay, yeah, it's got some brindle in it.
it's a yeah, it's an intense looking dog. Like
Yeah.
it's a little goofy looking, like long legs and everything, but
Mm.
I bet you it's a pretty capable dog.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen those Doggo Sardos in Italy?
I saw this is one guy from South America. He did he does his he'll upload a video or he'll summarize it because you can't really show too much you know violence or gore. But I mean he talked about that dog and yeah it looks like it if it's mad it's gonna be mad.
Yeah, it's looks like a utility farm dog, and then they come in rough coats and everything like
Yeah.
that. It's just shows you that each region has its own recipe. You know,
Yeah.
whatever works, whatever's available.
Like another intense well it's not as I mean it does have long legs but it's a little more bigger but what's called the Iranian the Sarabi.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
love
that
to
one.
talk to somebody
Yeah,
that
that
has.
one looks good. I mean, it looks nice when it's in a good mood, but I can tell that dog if it's mad, it's gonna get mad.
Yeah, I want to talk to somebody that has experience with all those dogs over in that area.
There's I'm sure there's some. I mean, I don't know stateside. But I know there's I know they got some people in the UK that have them.
Really?
I believe so, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe in the States, but I know in the UK they do. There's some people that have them.
It's going to be so much harder now to import dogs with these new laws coming next month.
Oh, for real? What have you been hearing? I haven't heard anything yet.
There's going to be like a mandatory quarantine, and I think there's a bunch of extra steps that you have to go through, and I mean you're talking like if it's coming from, I think you have to. It's like almost like Australia. Don't quote me, but I'm seeing like 6 months quarantine.
Yeah.
So that's gonna put a damper on a lot of people's trying to import.
Yeah, sometimes you have to import to do like an outcross or to increase genetic diversity. It's Speaking of that, dogs being ruined, and you're talking about that Australian bulldog, but I mean, I remember when I was a kid, looking at the German Shepherd. I'm in my 40s now, but I mean, the Western Shoreline from like the late 80s, early 90s, that was a dog.
Yeah, I remember.
I mean, and it was. I mean, and it could still do police work. I mean, it was supposed to be the show dog, but it was nice. But now it's like, really? I mean, what happened?
I remember even like the Dobermans and the German Shepherds back in the day, like in Westminster, like in the 80s and stuff. Like,
yeah,
heck yeah, those dogs still were capable.
Yeah. Well, the guy from the Czech Republic, he did a video about last year, Roka Dog, about the European and the American Doberman. The ones in Europe, they're still big and they're still like pretty pretty frightening. The ones over here are a little bit smaller and they're a little more like I guess nippy or more nervous if you don't get it from like a Brad breeder. They're not the same.
They're rife with health issues all
Yeah.
over. The
And on the flip
Doberman.
side over here, and even though it's a German dog, it's the opposite. The Germans they like the Rottweilers a little bit leaner and more athletic. Over here, we like them these big 140-pound dog, which is like really, dude. I mean, that's not really functional. Yeah. Which I mean, a Rottweiler is supposed to be robust, but I can still see 115, 120, and I can still be a capable dog. But I mean, I guess 140 that's too much weight for a dog like that.
Yeah, I'm all about proportion.
Yeah.
I like a dog that's sturdy, but if it fits its frame, I mean, I look at somebody like Joe Rita's bulldogs. Like some of his bulldogs are huge, but they carry it well. They look like an offensive lineman on some of the best Chinese supplements that you can get.
Correct.
So, but I think that, but if it looks, overweight, and it looks like it's in bad shape and bad health, and then yeah, that's a problem. How much do your Corsos weigh?
Oh, my female, she's no, she's not big. She's a medium small. Yeah, I'll say probably like 94 around there, 94 pounds. The female. Yeah. One of the males I was looking at, I'm planning to use her. That one's like 140 pounds, but he's fortunate. He's well bred and he's real socialized. They have that dog trained well. The other one I was looking at has a little more defense mode. I mean, it's a fawn. I like the fawns better than the blacks and the grays. But I mean, if I'm going on temperament, I'll probably use the other dog, better.
Like
if I do decide to go that way. Yeah, I like the fawn. I like the fawn in the Corso. I like the fawn. Same thing with obviously in the Borbal, it's the same color, the more common color. Speaking of Kansas, for your area, there was a hobby breeder. They were selling me a Borbal, a female for cheap, but it was a blue. It was a blue brindle.
Mm.
But because it wasn't like the standards. That's why they were trying to they're probably trying to get something out of it. But I didn't follow up on it. But it's frowned upon, and the blue is not standard in the Borbal. But yeah, for the Corsos, yes, I do prefer the fawns than the blacks and the grays.
I like them both. I guess I like the black. I like the black brindle. I don't know. I like them all. Really, it just depends on the dog.
Yeah,
but I do like the fawn too.
Mm.
Probably won't happen because it's almost impossible to get a dog with full rights. I want a really good quality white English bulldog, not like the white English bulldog like from the ones that are bred out of the American bulldogs, but I mean like a real English bulldog that's white. But they're just hard to. I don't want to deal with most AKC breeders.
Yeah, is the white bulldog. I mean, I know that there's health issues with the bulldog as a whole per se, but the white doesn't make it worse, right? It's just another color.
Yeah, they don't have. For some reason, because usually they're not breeding white to white. It just happens.
Okay.
A white dog comes out.
Because I know with the Dalmatian and and the boxer, they do have some issues, those white dogs.
Yeah.
But most of it, more often than not, has to do with the hearing.
Yeah, most of them end up deaf. It's like the Dogo Argentinos. They have a problem with that. They got to be careful.
Oh, really? The dogos have health issues?
More and more.
Or are you talking about like when the dogos are like an albino?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because
they can be prone to it.
okay, yeah, because I know it's a pretty good mix. You know, it's a pretty good a whole bunch of dogs that made that dog. I mean, I would assume it'd be healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them are, but they're
Yeah.
having more and more issues, because more and more are being bred, I guess.
Yeah. It's kind of like what they did with the German Shorthair Pointer. It's just a mix of a bunch of dogs, and whoop de doo. I mean, the dog looks good, and it's for the most part, it's a healthy dog. You know, if that dog weighed like 20 pounds bigger, I think that'd be perfect. I mean, because I had huskies before, a lot of energy, a lot of they would never tire out. But if that dog was like a little bit bulkier, I think that would be perfect for me.
Yeah,
they're just a little bit too skinny for my taste.
Have you seen those Perro Pampas?
Is that the one where it's like half Dogo and half APT?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that guy from South America, he had more recently he had one of those dogs. He says it's a little more temperamental. Because he had a Dogo that Dogo actually he can control it. He was able to control it better. But the Perro Pampa, he is the one he had more. I haven't seen that guy in years. But he's I think he's from Peru. But yeah, but
Argentina.
He's in Argentina. The guy I'm talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that guy, he would say, no, I'm talking about the guy with the YouTube channel, not where the dog's from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This guy was from Peru, but he had one. He had a Dogo Argentino, and then he had the Perro Pampa, and from he was saying the Perro Pampa is a little more, temperamental.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had some of the bull blood in there, more bull blood.
Mm-hmm. The gameness in it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of good dogs that you can make.
Yep.
I think the American Kita supposedly has like small percentage of bulldog in it, like American Bulldog, right?
I don't know. I know the American Kita does have in the more recent history it does have, because the Japanese people were mixing the German Shepherds, especially the ones that had the more the ones that are more solid German Shepherds, or obviously had a mask, or the ones that had like like the Czechoslovakian lines.
Yeah.
But more so the color, not because they wanted it, because they were trying to save their dogs, so they would breed them and then they would release them in the wild because they were killing them off for fur coats for the soldiers for World War II. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's got more recent German Shepherd blood, but it actually has more of the Tosa blood per se.
Okay, so that's probably
and more recent history, yeah, it got a little German Shepherd, but overall, it's mainly the original Japanese Akita and the Tosa Inu in their blood things.
That makes more sense.
And you can see that the way they act, because out of all the Mastiffs, the Tosa is the one that's a little more independent and not as needy and not as loud. And the Akita kind of acts like that. It does have it will it'll throw down with the dog if it doesn't like it, but obviously it doesn't have the same stamina as the Tosa. For a long fight. At least certainly not in the summer.
I wish I got more into, I've always loved dogs and always been into them, but I haven't like put all my focus into them like I have in
Yeah.
these recent years. So I'd love to be able to have some ability to have firsthand knowledge with some of these breeds, but I can't imagine having a dog aggressive dog. Like I worry a little bit about like with my
Yeah. Well, I keep them in pairs. I've always had 3 or 4 Akitas, and I got 3 now, and I got the Corso, but I got my yard divided, so yeah, I got to keep the males separate. That's a given.
do you
The females, for the most part, yeah. I mean, but with the male, I mean, if you're present or if you stop it, I mean, you can kind of mitigate it. You can kind of keep them together in certain times, but when it's with a female, it's pretty much it's a yeah. Once you cross that road, it's over. There'll be bitter. There's no going back. There's no re-socializing, or there's no mitigating it. Yes, with the males, it can be more gory if you let it happen. Obviously the bigger dogs, and the testosterone is running. But I mean, you can kind of, if you know what you're doing, you can probably separate them, where you can, if you're present, nothing's going to happen. But with the females, no. From what I've heard and from my experience, once they cross that road, there's no going back. They're not going to get along.
Are you gonna breed at the Akitas too?
Good question. I've only had 2 or 3 litters. Two registered litters, and my first litter was non-registered with the Akitas. I've kind of been a little frustrated because they have, my main male has kind of let me down several times. I'm actually going to take them. I'm actually going to go down to Brenham. Just down the road on 290, just between Austin and Houston, more closer to Houston. I'm taking them to. They do artificial insemination over there. I'm going to have them checked out and see, what's going on, if he's still viable, and if he is, I mean, is it a seasonal thing, where is the temperature playing a role in it, or do I have to go the artificial insemination route? But I'll find out for sure this Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and I rehomed that male, the son I kept not too long ago, probably less than a year ago or 9 months ago, and she was a breeder out there in Conroe, in the suburb of Houston.
Mm-hmm.
She's a hobby breeder too, so he's living his life out there. I kept his daughter. His daughter's registered, so basically the only dogs that are related here is just my main Akita, and I have his granddaughter. And then my other big female, she's nice. I mean, I'll probably I don't know if I can upload a picture, but I got her from East Texas, just up the road, down the road, 3 hours from here. So yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten any local dogs. The Corso I got from East Texas as well, but that was a further drive. That was almost like 4.5 hours.
Yeah, there's a lot of shows out your way too.
Here, whenever I get time, I'll probably go into the UKC website and see if there's some UKC shows I want to hit up. I mean, but yeah, I get the notifications. They'll say in your closest to your area, and yeah, you get a lot out in God, what's that town? It's outside San Antonio, but it's I'll say Caryville, Caryville, and what's the other town out there? Yeah, I forget, but there's 2 towns out there. I'll say Comfort and Caryville. They had some earlier this year. I didn't go to them, but I mean, yeah, I get the emails. I just never go. AKC, they interpret their standard or the confirmation to how it suits them. That's what I don't like.
Yeah, I think they rely so much on the breed clubs, and then they rely so much on who is in control of the breed clubs. That's what bothers me.
Yeah.
That it's
One thing that
it's all subjective,
Yeah, that's one reason why I got away from Huskies, because they'll penalize the dog if it's like half an inch too tall, but if the dog is like an inch and a half shorter, oh, it's okay. It can still win. Really?
Oh God.
Yeah, that's what really. That's why I got away from huskies. Then. Well, at least the registered ones. I mean, well, I haven't had a husky since 2018, but I mean, that's the thing that did it for me. I mean, at that time, I got my first Akita too. So I had my first Akita. You know, when I found that out, Casey pissed me off. I got into it with my landlord. So I get the perfect storm, and I pretty much shifted towards Akita.
Here's a nice, a meaner version of a husky.
Yeah, it's like the Corso. The Corso's the athlete of the Mastiffs. The Akita is the heavyweight of the Spitz.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so it's one thing I prefer about the Corso over the Akita is like the females. I mean, they're usually bigger overall. Like the female I got right here, she's about the other female I got over here. She's about 97, 98 pounds. My Akita, she's a big girl. But that's like hard to find. I mean, if you find an 88-pound female Corso, that's rare. Usually they're pretty bigger overall per se. I guess in the Akita the sexual dimorphism is more obvious. In the Corso, it's not as obvious. They're a little more even per se.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The mother of this dog, my main Akita, like I mentioned, I have his granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
Her mom, she kind of was I would say she probably was bred wrong. She's a little more nervous. I had a lot of trouble to get her to walk on a leash, but she would always. She was a quiet one, but she made a lot of racket. She would always bite and scratch at the side of the fence, and I had to replace 3 of my panels because she was trying to get to the Corso. The Corso would bark back, but I mean it wasn't out of control per se. I mean the Corso probably to defend herself, but it was the Akita she was trying to get to her.
Yeah.
Now when I had the grandfather with her on that side, yeah, they got along fine. I mean she actually brought more life to my Akita.
Interesting.
He's 6 years old now, but this happened when he was 4.5, 5. Yeah, no, 5. He was 5, and yeah, he was a little more sluggish, and he did have an ear infection at one point. I got that taken care of since then, but getting taken care of that ear infection, took him to bed, and then this Corso, like I said, she's a little rambunctious. He brought back more life to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My Frenchies, my Turkish Shepherd will play with my Frenchies outside. They're obsessed with him. They'll attack him, and he runs around with them and paws at him. And
saw French Bulldog. It was like, I guess Corso you call it the Formentino, and I was talking to the mother and the daughter, and they said, yeah, he's a little troublemaker. He'll bite through the chain link and try to get out, and he does get out sometimes. And he's like, really, yeah. You see him right now. He's calm, but he will, he'll kick it in the 4th gear when it matters, or when it doesn't matter actually.
Yeah, these things do not know their limitations. All bulldogs
like test the boundaries.
They just move forward, and then they regret it when it's too late.
Oh.
Yeah. I think small dogs is where it's at for me. I just keep going back to bigger dogs because I just like so many of the big dogs, but just where at my point in life, these make the most sense. I'll probably end up getting an English or an Old English, at least one of those.
Yeah.
I can't live without an English of some sort. I don't want if I get an Old English, I want one no more than 75 pounds.
How's it drooling? Is it bad or not so much?
Oh, it's not bad at all, unless like they're for food or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Some dogs are more than others, but no, it's not that bad. My Turkish Shepherd will drool when it comes to food, dinner time.
Okay.
When I first like my English will, if he's like really excited and nervous, like he's really nervous, drool a little bit for whatever reason. But I don't even know if you call that drool, but he hasn't done that since 7 years, 6, 8 years.
Oh, okay.
But um, yeah, he'll drool a little bit like during dinner time, but that's about it.
Yeah, I don't think I could deal with like a bull mastiff or an English mastiff. That'd probably be too much drool for me. Like, no.
Bordeaux's and Neos, yeah.
Well, the Bordeaux is like the obvious like choice, like the obvious one, because the Bordeaux is actually like it's more brestophilic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The bull mastiff not so much. I mean, you look at it, but it's not technically the bull mastiff's not brestophilic, but still, I don't know. I just can't deal with them. They decide to shake or something, or if if they're needed to drink water and they come back to me, I don't know. I think I can deal with that. With feeding, is there certain ones you gotta separate, or you got dogs pretty, they're pretty,
yeah,
I mean,
you can't let the Frenchies eat together. Not my boys. I separate all of them. I put them each in a pen, and then definitely the Turkish Shepherd. He's the first one that he eats, and then I take him and put him outside because he is very food aggressive. He doesn't. He loses his head during food time. He doesn't want anybody around. He starts to growl if he hears somebody bark or anything like that. He's just not.
Yeah.
He's like, leave me the F alone. This is my food. So, he eats separate, and my two oldest ones, they won't actually share each other's food.
Yeah.
But you take the puppies, and with my English, if one of the puppies try to take some food from my English, it might be a problem.
Yeah. When I had Huskies, I would supervise. I would feed them at the same time, but I would have to be out there. Nothing would happen. But with the Akitas, no, I got you. Do gotta separate them. I tie one off and feed one, and go ahead. Once you're done, then I'll do the same thing.
It's weird though, because like my boy, I mean, he was free fed until we got him. We brought him home. Like he was free fed. I mean, generations of his blood are just free fed.
Yeah.
They all eat together, but for whatever reason, so he's. But I've heard that it is pretty common for them to be pretty possessive of their food.
Yeah.
Especially, I guess, if you're domesticating them in a way.
I'm looking at some pictures here online, and I forgot about this dog. You heard of the Assyrian Shepherd, or also known as the Kurdish Mastiff?
Yeah, I love
No, that dog looks like an athletic Spanish Mastiff. Kind of with a little alibi mixed in there, but this is pretty similar to like a Spanish Mastiff that's not overweight. Dog that can move and has the grit to do what it's supposed to.
Yeah, I'd like to hear some stories about those dogs. There's probably not a lot of them around, but
probably not a lot of them around, or the people that have them probably don't speak English. But I think with the Sarabi, I think you could probably find some English speaking people, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
with the Iranian one.
What do you think of the Bully Kata?
Oh man, that's the smooth haired primitive dog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like those dogs a lot.
That's I mean that would be like a bulky stocky Great Danish look. Not when they would mix the Corso with that. That actually looks like more land race and you know still 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 not from what my understanding, it's not totally domesticated per se.
Yeah, I don't. There's just so much myth around it, but the only myth that I don't think it is a myth is that it is just a primitive beast. I believe those stories. That dog is a serious dog.
Yeah, I don't even think it has a happy face.
I hear
I don't think it smiles much.
I hear there can be easy to own.
Yeah.
As far as like keeping them contained and everything, but they are extremely aggressive towards animals, not just dogs, animals. Period. Although
Yeah.
some people say like certain strains. I'm talking out of my head here, but from what I
Yeah.
remember, certain strains are more livestock friendly.
Well, it's probably like the other side of the spectrum. It's probably like there's some strains for the bully quota that can protect livestock and not try to kill them.
Yep.
And then on the other side of the spectrum would be like the Borbal. I mean, some strains they don't give two shits about the livestock, but there's some strains that can, and will take care of the livestock. I guess that'll be like the other side of the coin. You know.
Yeah, my last interview with Johan Ford, I think is how you say his name. He's got what I consider real Borbals.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the other Borbals too. Don't get me wrong. I just think that the way he explained it
Yeah.
is what I remember reading about Borbals 20 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
25 years ago. I was like,
Yeah.
not the Borbals that I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the Fila had a similar background in South America. Now it lost that. It can't fight off or chase down a leopard anymore. Now they're just as good, or if not better, at guarding, but they lost that. The Warminer used to be big game as well. Now it's just what they call upland bird.
Mm-hmm.
They lost that, and like I said, like I told the other Maikitos, yeah, they're just as good or just as or worse, when it comes to animals and dog aggression. But when it comes to guard dog, yeah, they're probably not the same Akitas from 25 years ago. They probably they mellowed down a little bit. No, I've seen some reports online and some not just on YouTube but on the internet. I think there's a lot some bad breeding in the UK. You hear a lot about these American bullies and these American Akitas that they're going psycho in the UK. I mean, I don't know what's going on, bad breeding or a different culture, but I mean, I just don't get it.
Yeah, because they seem a little more conscientious about that sort of stuff, and they have more regulation and all that. I have a suspicion why it might be going on, but that's for other people to talk about, not me. It I don't know. I guess if I was gonna have a bully cut, this is my mindset. To say, for example, bully cut, I would I would want one to look the part, but be a big pussy. You know what I mean? Because I just don't. I just wouldn't want that loaded weapon.
Yeah, but sometimes the appearance could be just the deterrent.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's kind of. I think that's more people are like my line of thinking, and they just don't verbalize it. Maybe and they breed
Yeah.
more like my line of thinking, even though they don't say it out loud. It's hard to find people that, like yourself, are going to want to manage more of your aggressive style breed
Yeah.
and do it properly. Do it with a. Like I really like the idea of Tosa too, because they're just so, they're quiet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. All Japanese breeds, they have that mystique. They just, I don't know. I mean, they come in as a. I mean, it's like how to describe it. Tosa, Akita, Shikoku, and even the Shiba, they come in with like a badass, a swagger, but they don't talk the talk. They just walk it. Does that make sense?
yeah, it's that samurai spirit.
Yeah, it's a samurai spirit. They know but they're not gonna show it off. They're not gonna verbalize it. They just have it.
Yeah.
A few years back when I still had I think I still had I had my first Akita. That one I could, that one I could take. He was usually good at dog part most of the time. But anyways, this guy had a Kaiken.
Oh yeah.
You know what a Kaiken is?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like like the Shiba, but it's the brindle one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had one. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. He's like, what's this, dude? This is one of those the Japanese dogs, right? Like, yeah. What is it? He told me the Kaiken. Oh, I've heard of this dog. Yeah, I just saw it right there, like within a few feet from me. It's the only one I seen, but I mean. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, pretty neat watching something that's like ultra rare.
Yeah, I just was looking. Funny you say that because I was just looking at one of the sites to see if there's any more links to other breeders. I think there's 2 breeders of the Kaikens. I reached out to one, but you know how your messages get filtered into Facebook sometimes into spam. People don't. If you're not a regular Facebook user, you don't pay attention to that shit, so you never look.
Yeah, I don't have Facebook or Instagram, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, you got rid of it?
No, I never had it.
Wow, you're one of those, man.
I don't know. Avoid drama or whatever. I mean, see, I'm the OG. I'm one of the. I tell people, I'm one of the co-founders and the MySpace pimps from back in the day.
Yeah.
So so like, and I tell them, so what happens? Well, I tell them, well, like the Roman Empire, everything comes crumbling down eventually. If you see what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I got caught on MySpace, and ever since then I just don't have. I mean, I got Snapchat. I got that, but I mean that's little. You can be a little more, incognito with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't I don't worry about that stuff. I'm retired, so
Yeah.
I don't get caught. If anybody catches me, they're gonna be pretty bored. Me looking at it as like he's looking at it.
Yeah, this was like many years ago, but I mean, yeah.
No, yeah, for sure. No, I get it. I get it.
Like back in 08 or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember those days. MySpace. Yeah, no, I didn't get a Facebook until like 5 or 6 years after it came out.
Yeah.
Then I quit it a few times because I didn't understand it. Like Instagram, I still don't understand Instagram. But I'm on there because I like, I just do more research than I do anything else.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a pit. Yeah, I'm definitely trying. I'm looking to working spaniel breeders and maybe some field lab breeders too. I kind of want to get out in that space, hear those people's stories. They got
And
some.
which one's the biggest spaniel? Is it the water spaniel? Is that the bigger one or the spaniels?
Yeah,
Yeah. I had a coworker in the oil field. He had a Brittany. It was a pretty good dog. Yeah.
yeah. Some of the working line ones are like totally different. People don't.
Yeah.
They think of the show line dogs, but the
Uh-huh.
working line dogs are totally different.
Yep.
Well, I better let you go. I'm gonna take these little suckers out and get a couple hours of snooze.
Yeah, I hear you. I probably do the same thing.
Yeah, keep in touch and don't work too hard when you're out there.